Hey guys, and welcome back. So today is going to be my 20-week pregnancy vlog. Like, my mind is blown. Like, where has the time gone? I can't believe that in 20 weeks or less, this little baby is going to be here. And I'm so excited. I can't even explain how excited I am right now. So last week I went for my anatomy scan where I got to see the little baby, and the baby was so active that I actually have to go back for a repeat ultrasound next week just because they want to get a few more photos of the baby's heart and make sure everything's great. But so far they said everything looks perfect, which helps me relax, as I always say, because now I don't have that stress of worrying that something may be wrong with this little baby. But just knowing that I'm reaching that 20-week mark and that I'm halfway through my pregnancy is extremely, extremely exciting for both me and my fiance, and even the girls and our entire family, who are all so excited for this little one to just come already. At my ultrasound, when they do the measurements and everything, they were able to have like a projected weight. So the baby's projected to weigh around 8 pounds. My daughters were both 6 pounds. And just thinking about having an 8-pounder sounds crazy. And I know my soon-to-be mother-in-law did also mention that my fiance was 8 pounds. So I guess it shouldn't really be a surprise that this baby may be a little bit bigger than my other ones. I doubt it's going to be 100% 8 pounds, but I'm sure we'll be close to it. And I know that my body is meant for this, it's made for this, and whatever happens, happens. But I'm just keeping a positive mind and just knowing that I can do it if the baby is 8 pounds or if the baby goes past its due date. I know that everything will be okay. My doctor says so far everything looks great, and I feel great, I want to say, but we'll get to that later. So besides them, measuring the baby and seeing that the baby's going to be about 8 pounds, they also came to the realization that the baby is still measuring a few days ahead. Before it was 1 day ahead, now it's 2 days ahead. So they're not going to change my due date, only because obviously they don't feel the need to do it. Baby's on track, baby's healthy and growing as it needs to be, and they just pretty much feel as if, as long as the days don't continue to gradually grow, which I doubt that they will, then they don't really feel the need to push my due date ahead anyway. But knowing that the baby's measuring a few days ahead just kind of questions me again, like, when exactly did I ovulate? Like, I'm so curious, because when I was expected to ovulate, it was not around any of the times that we even thought about having sex. So it's just like, I have no idea when this baby was conceived. Clearly it happened sometime when I ovulated, but apparently when I ovulated wasn't when I thought I did, which still, I don't know. Like, it always have this question in my mind, like, when exactly did it occur? I know it doesn't really matter, but just the fact that even my due date doesn't even match up to when my last period was, and the baby is still like gradually just growing ahead of its due date, it just kind of reminds me, like, I have no idea when I ovulate. So if him and I do decide to try to conceive again at some point, I would love to actually go out and purchase, like, the ovulation kits and things like that, just to have a better understanding of, like, how my body flows and, different things that happen throughout my cycle, and gain a better understanding of that besides just charting. So I still, so far, have absolutely no cravings. I feel kind of like my normal self. I just pretty much eat whatever I feel like eating that particular day. There's nothing that I'm really hungry for or craving or feel like I need to have any given moment in time. But I have been having tons of Braxton Hicks contractions, like to the point where when I went to my OB appointment also last week, I mentioned it to my doctor, and she mentioned to me that, I think she said that I want to say that she said my uterus, or was it my cervix? It would be helpful if I remembered, pregnancy brain. But basically she said that usually a woman's, I think she said cervix, is maybe about like 3 inches, and mine is actually 5. So she feels like even if I am having Braxton Hicks, she knows that they will be able to catch it in more than enough time before I start to have any dilation or any changes. but for me to just make sure I'm taking it easy, drinking plenty of water, and if I have more than 4, I think she said within an hour, that are painful, to just for sure come in so I can be seen, so that way they can make sure that I don't have any changes to my cervix, so that this little one can stay in. But just experiencing the Braxton Hicks just kind of reminds me that my body is changing and growing each and every day to kind of make room for this baby, because this baby is growing fast. I still feel most of the kicks towards the bottom half of my belly, which is not surprising because I am carrying very, very low, which is, like I think I've mentioned it before, which is different than how I carried my daughters. So feeling the baby's kicks so low and not necessarily being able to actually see the kicks higher up in my belly has made it a little bit more difficult for me to even see the movement. Like, so when the baby's moving, I can feel the baby moving for sure, and I can put my hand down there and kind of feel it, but it's still hard for me to see it because if I'm laying down, it's a little hard to see over my belly. So I can't wait for the baby to kind of stretch out a little bit more and move higher up into my belly. That way I can still see and capture like the baby movements. So recently, since our anatomy scan, my fiance and I have been thinking about names. We have a definite girl name picked out. We are just struggling with the boy names. Like, there's so many, and we know we don't want anything common. For my daughter's names, I didn't want anything that was super common, and my fiance's name is not a very common name. Like, he's Brent, my oldest is Alessandra, my youngest is Ariella. So we were like thinking like, okay, do we want to keep with an A theme? Do we want to go with, you know, something that starts with a B? Do we just want to mix it up all together? But we just don't know, and there's so many options we have right now for a baby boy, and it's a struggle. Like, we really want to do a first name and a middle name. Worst case scenario, if we can't find a second name that we like, we're gonna just nix a middle name. But for the most part, we have a good 10, I want to say, names that are currently picked out for a boy, and just deciding whether or not we want to 100% go with them. Oh, and when I can't remember if I mentioned it in my last video or not, but another pregnancy something I keep forgetting, besides pregnancy brain, clearly, is breakouts. Like, my skin is breaking out so ridiculously bad. Like, no matter how much rest I'm getting, which is little to none because I've been having restless sleep, and no matter how much fluids I'm drinking, how much I'm eating, how much exercise I'm getting, because I've still been doing lots of long walks throughout the week, my face is still breaking out, like breaking out. But one good thing is that my hair is becoming very thick. Like, I need to do something with it today, but for the most part, my hair is getting really thick. I have really like thin, curly hair, and even if I straighten it, usually it's still pretty thin. But now my hair is really like thickening out. Like, even if I wash my hair and wear it curly, it's like big, giant, thick curls, which I don't mind. It's really, really nice. So guys, that was a really quick 20-week pregnancy update. So I'm gonna show you guys the belly. This is my 20-week pregnancy bump. So guys, that was my 20-week pregnancy update. I hope you guys enjoyed. I wanted to make it kind of quick and sweet since there's not a ton of changes in relation to last week. But I just wanted to at least give an update on some of the things I'm experiencing right now. That way, if any of you are in your 20 weeks and are experiencing the same, you can kind of relate in that aspect. So thanks again for watching, guys. If you love this video, give it a big thumbs up and subscribe. I post videos every Monday and Wednesday, and I hope to see you guys then.